Hey there, gorgeous people. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Patrice, and today we're going to be talking shysta about people. Check the earrings. They are toilet paper, so you know what kind of time we are on, all right? So let us just jump right into it. Okay, so our first story comes from the r/AITH subreddit, and this was posted 5 days ago, all right? Am I the a-hole for telling my husband that I am going back on our agreement and I don't care if he cries about it? Stand on business, sister. Stand on business. My husband and I, both 32, have been together since we were 19. Young love, yeah. Our entire relationship feels like it just blew up in my face, basically, and I can't tell if I'm overreacting. All right, we will tell you if you're overreacting, all right? This is what we're here for. So we both wanted one child, and we have planned this for years. We wanted everything perfect first: the home, the careers, the savings, the investment, the nest egg, etc., etc., etc. Because we both knew from very early on that once we had a baby, I would be staying home full time and raising our child. His brother's life was unfortunately cut short by a daycare worker when he was just 5 months old back in 2017. Oh. So daycare wasn't an option basically, and we need to make sure our ducks were in a row so I could stay home and be a full-time parent. 2 years ago, we were sitting on $500,000 in investments, a few nest eggs in different types of savings and bond accounts. We bought the house, we even bought a damn boat. Everything we planned for fell into place, finally, and we started trying for a baby. We now have a perfect 4-week-old daughter. Oh, congrats, congrats. I have been out of work since I was 5 months pregnant due to a placenta abruption, but otherwise everything went fine. Thank God. She's perfectly healthy, was a good weight, and I bounced back from delivery fairly quickly because of how much of a support system my husband was. He did more than his fair share while still working full time, which is partially why I cannot tell if I am being dramatic or if this is hormones or PPD or whatever. Like I am legitimately livid. So basically, earlier this afternoon, I get a phone call from DHHS to go over health insurance options and whether or not the baby is eligible for state insurance based off our income. I had already given DHHS all of our info, social security numbers, date of birth, etc., etc. When they called yesterday and was just waiting for all our info and assets to be pulled, anyways, she calls and says we aren't eligible because my husband makes too much money and we need to add her to our private insurance. Absolutely no problem at all. I kind of figured that anyways. But then she offhandedly mentioned that my husband is making $10,920 monthly gross and that the cutoff for the state insurance is $7,830 monthly gross. Well, here's the issue. For months, my husband has been telling me that he only makes $6,000 a month after taxes. So I get off the phone and I log into my husband's computer and into his bank account. And sure enough, his monthly take home is bordering around $8,500. He is transferring everything over $6,000 into an account I didn't even know existed. So I call him out on it and he breaks down and tells me that he just wanted something that was only his. Please keep in mind that all of my money has always gone into our joint account that he uses on a daily basis. So he is hiding money from me so he can have his own money while plugging away at mine. Over $45,000 he has sitting in that account. While telling me last week that we couldn't have steak for dinner because spending $38 on 2 steaks was a waste of money. So I told him I am putting the baby in daycare and going back to work because obviously I need to safeguard myself if he is hiding away money. Something feels off about it. I don't know. He instantly started crying. See above, daycare trauma. But I truly just don't trust him financially anymore. I no longer feel secure. I said I changed my mind and I don't care if he cries about it. Am I the a-hole? No, girl. No, you are not. That is financial abuse. Okay? It doesn't matter what he wants to cry about. It doesn't matter what other people want to say. That is financial abuse. You both made decisions, plans, and everything. And why does he have the need to have his own money, his own separate money, while he is using your money? Okay? No, in my head, he's not very smart either, because if it came to that and y'all got divorced, you would still be entitled to half of the money. So I'm not sure what his plan was, but it's it's not good. Okay, if I could understand if you both agreed on, okay, we put this into joint and then we have separate accounts for different things, for, you know, like my little play money, my little spending money, my pocket money, my buying shoes money. I can understand that. But to be hiding it, right? And then on top of all of that, you decide that you're not going to go to work. So you are financially responsible, no, depending, sorry, on this man. Right? That right there is financial abuse. Then if you don't have any money, then you have to depend on everything for him to purchase. He has to do this. You have to ask him for this. No, girl. Mm-mm. I don't blame you one bit. Go back to work. Make sure you have your own. One thing Monica used to tell me, if you're wondering, Monica is my mother. Monica used to say, have your own. She always used to say, you should only have one child. Just in case the man walks out, you can support your one child. So, girl, you have your one child. If it push comes to shove, you can support your baby girl. But go back to work, have your own. Blessed be the woman that has his own. That is not written in the Bible anyways. I just made that up. But yes, yeah. Do it, girl. Let's see what Reddit has to say. This comment says, not the a-hole. He doesn't get to have secret financial security set up in case you split while preventing you from doing the same. He can either dump the $45K into the shared account and give you access to make sure that doesn't happen again, or he gets to realize that he is the reason his baby is in daycare. Agreed. Agreed. That is just, I don't know. Somebody else says her divorce lawyer will find the money. Of course, I don't know what he was thinking. If you split, the money's under your name, and it was so easy for her to find the account. You don't think divorce lawyers would be? It would be easy, even easier for them to find it. Makes no sense, none whatsoever. All right, so the next story comes from the same subreddit. Am I the a-hole for never disclosing to my grandchildren's father how much I plan to give my grandchildren towards their futures? My daughter died when my two grandchildren were young. Oh my gosh, so sorry. My son-in-law remarried and created a blended family of his, hers, theirs. My husband and I knew our daughter had left some money in a trust for our grandchildren's future. But she was young when she died and didn't have a lot to leave them. So we decided to make sure they would receive a very comfortable amount from us once they reached 18. This was to help with college or pay for a house or to allow them the ability to train for their dream careers. We never told our son-in-law. This was done so we would not be asked to split the money between all the children, and so our grandchildren would not be prioritized less by their father or his wife. This money was not supposed to act as child support or money for the household. It's for my grandchildren. Our oldest grandchild graduated 2 years ago, and we gave her access to the money, and she never told her dad. Our youngest grandchild graduated this year and was quick to set up a high-interest savings account, and he made the choice to skip college to pursue a different path towards his career. This led to a conversation where my son-in-law learned about the savings. My son-in-law's wife was furious with my husband and myself for not disclosing the money to them years before. My son-in-law was hurt we chose to do this instead of giving something to all the children. He said us not telling him added to his hurt because he had hoped we would want all the children to have the same start in their adult lives. He felt like we should have told him so he and his wife could plan accordingly. My youngest grandchild moved in with us after the trouble started, and both my grandchildren have discussed the issue with their dad several times. But he still insists my husband and I should have told him. Am I the a-hole? Now, nope. Listen, sharing is a nice thing to do. It is not a requirement, okay? To share is nice. It's a very nice thing to do. It is not a requirement. You will not miss out on the pearly gates if you decide that you don't want to share with somebody. That's just my opinion, all right? No, your daughter left funds for her kids, right? And you guys just wanted to add to that to make sure they are fine. You are not responsible for the kids that the current wife brings in, or their joint kid. Like, that is not your responsibility as grandparents. Would it be a nice thing to do? Yes. Okay. But I don't think you are the a-hole for not doing that. No. Something to note is when the oldest child got their funds, they did not tell the father or the wife. That should show something. That says a lot, in my opinion. He or she kept it a secret, right? That should show something. I think the wife is greedy. The wife is selfish. You didn't state, but I feel like she's probably the one that wants everything for her kids and all the things. Like, I think that is where that stems from, for that child not to tell them. For the youngest grandchild, smart young man. I think he's a young man. High interest. He put his money in the savings, high interest, yada yada. He's planning his future. Good on him. The fact that they found out, and this is now a very big issue, to the fact that he had to move in with y'all, speaks volume about the father and the stepmother, or the current wife right now. I don't like her. I don't think I like her. Now I can understand where you'll say, okay, all my kids, two of them are going to have a whole different future than the rest of them. It doesn't seem fair. I get that. And I get, as a father, how that would look. However, you also have to understand that these two kids did not grow up with their mother, and they have their grandparents that wants to spoil them. To be fair, I don't see anything wrong with it. Optics, it does, because for the other kids, they'll be like, oh, how come they get this and we didn't get that? Well, they're not your grandparents. I'm just saying. The life's not fair. But let's see what the comments have to say. All right. Someone says, not the a-hole. It's plain to see that your original plan was wise. You would have been having to deal with the endless rude entitlement the entire time. See? Someone else says, the fact that the oldest grandchild didn't tell dad after receiving the funds speaks volumes. That's what I said. Clocked in, man. Yes, it does. Someone else says, you got to wonder why the oldest dad and stepmom didn't wonder where the money for college came from. The oldest lied or deflected questions. That too speaks volumes. Also, if they were thinking, they'd realize any funds they had planned for the first two kids would be used for the younger. But bet they didn't plan at all and were just happy the two oldest didn't ask for financial help after graduating high school, except when the younger chose a different path. That would indeed raise questions that scholarship or extra job wouldn't suffice. So this next story comes from r/divorce. Ex-wife is pushing hard to get back together. How to let her down gently. Divorced my ex about a year ago. Lots of issues, but the high up was we were the stereotype of the wife that does work, does everything around the house with the kids, except obviously the genders were reversed. Okay, so you were, all right, gotcha. Dealt with that for years. Tried over and over to talk to her about it and was basically met with nope, she doesn't agree and thinks life is fine. I don't believe in threatening divorce or breaking up, so after begging for literally years, I just handed her papers. Anyway, things have been fine post-divorce. She dated for a while and I only recently started. Met someone I really clicked with and well, I guess my first mistake was not lying. My ex asked what I was doing one day and followed it up asking if I was going on a date. I don't like to lie, so I told her yes. Generally, I don't ask about her relationships, and she has had at least one longer one I know of because our kids met him before they broke up. Well, now crap has hit the fan. She won't stop begging me to get back together and making it clear she is competing with the other woman I am dating. The hard part is letting her down gently. It's hard one of us basically have the kids at all times, and I don't want to do it when she has them because she is prone to just breaking down. I have plans to meet with her one-on-one to talk and need to figure out how to approach this. Any suggestions? Well, the first thing is do not break it to her gently. The gentle approach might be what is giving her faith and hope that you guys can rekindle. You being nice is what is doing that. You took time to heal and you met someone after. She probably jumped into relationships and realized, you know, what I had was not that bad. I had a loving man who washed, cooked, clean, took care of the kids and all of that. And I was just a little streggy. I was the person who, caused the issues, and to really see what is out there, the cesspool of options when it comes to men. she actually figure out what, what is out there. And she's like, well, she messed around and found out and she wants you back, but I don't think you should break it to her gently. You need to not lie, but you need to be like, hey, there's no chance in HE double hockey sticks that we're getting back together. What we have is done. I don't want this to affect the kids. I don't want you breaking down on all the things, but I think gentle approach is what is going on. Like, what is going wrong? What is wrong? The gentle approach is giving her hope, so you need to rip off the band-aid and let her know. There's no competing with the one man that I'm dating because I don't want you, okay? It's like, oh, somebody else, I don't want anybody else having you. No, so I'm competing. Tell her there's no competition. Don't rip it off gently, just psh, yeah. Yep. Let's see what the comments have to say. This one says, you are not obligated to let her down gently. See? You aren't dating her and you haven't led her on. Being too gentle might actually do her a disservice, as she might think that you're considering it. Obviously, you don't want to be deliberately cruel, but the most important thing is being clear and firm. No, you do not want to get back together. No, not even if you broke up with your current girlfriend. You do not want to go back to that relationship. It did not work for you. That's why you left. It's over. Calm but clear. She may be upset. You cannot control her reactions. They are her reactions. You only have control over your actions. Okay, psychologist and counselor in the comment section. I like this. I like this. Now, OP responded to that and says, that is ultimately the problem. I have been too nice generally, and she does feel like I have led her on in some sense. And the gentle part is because I know she will spiral, and I would like at least a half-decent relationship, more for our kids than anything else. Someone says, please read, no more Mr. Nice Guy. Many things will become clearer. I agree. Stop being nice. Tell homegirls to listen. I eat this. Done. All right, so this next story comes from the r/AITH subreddit. Am I the a-hole for refusing to babysit after realizing my sister was using me as leverage in her relationship? My sister has a child with her boyfriend. They argue often, and she constantly uses her daughter as proof that she deserves more attention or sympathy. Whenever they fight, she drops the child with me so she can leave and make her boyfriend chase her. Last week, she asked me to babysit again. I said I had work early the next day and could not. She immediately launched into a speech about how I never support her and how she is a struggling mother and I should be grateful I can help her. Okay. Later, I found out she had told her boyfriend I agreed to watch the child so she could go out with her friends. She had already made plans while lying about it to both of us. When her boyfriend found out the truth, he confronted her and she told him I bailed at the last second. She tried to use me as the villain in their argument. I confronted her and she said I made everything worse by not cooperating. What a terrible sister. This sister sounds like she's the baby. The one that the parents spoil, the one that has to get everything, the manipulative one, the I don't know. It just gives last child wash belly energy. It gives baby energy. The one that the parents spoil. You being a big sister just seem like, you've always picked up the slack. You've never questioned anything. And she has just been able to live her life. Like, you need to watch my kids so I can go out and, go out with my friends. Like, no responsibility. This is your child, ma'am. Okay? I am not here as, whenever you feel like you just drop off your child. No, that is not how this works. Let's see what the comments have to say. Not the a-hole. You should be grateful you can help me. Laugh my butt off. Can't understand why your sister gonna end up a single mom. Yeah, seriously, that line was wild, and it sounds like the sister is digging her own hole here. It sounds more like the boyfriend is going to be a single dad. It sounds like the sister only wants the child for attention and not because it is her child. Ooh, clock it. Yep. Someone says, for real, sister needs a mind adjustment. Someone else says, this is the kind of sibling that is in normal circumstances would get cut off. OP, make this that kind of circumstance. Okay, so we do have an update to this one. All right. Update says, so after the whole situation where my sister lied to both me and her boyfriend, things got even more chaotic. Her boyfriend eventually reached out to me directly. He apologized for the argument and said he just wanted to know what actually happened because my sister's story didn't make sense. I told him the truth calmly, that I said no because I had to work early and that she still made plans behind everyone's back. He wasn't even surprised. Apparently, she had done variations of this before, just not as blatantly. He ended up confronting her again, and this time he told her he wasn't going to argue if she was going to drag other people into their issues. She immediately called me angry, saying I should have covered for her so she wouldn't look bad. According to her, I made everything 10 times worse by being honest. I told her flat out that I'm not going to lie for her or be used as a prop in her relationship drama. That set her off even more. She accused me of not supporting her as a single mom, even though she's in a relationship and only decides she's single when they're fighting. Since then, I've put some boundaries in place. I told her I will not babysit unless she asks in advance and it's for an honest reason. No more last minute drama, no more guilt trips, and absolutely no using me as a scapegoat. She's been giving me the silent treatment ever since, which honestly has been peaceful. Her boyfriend, on the other hand, thanked me again for clearing things up and said he'll handle their issues without dragging anyone else in. So yeah, not the dramatic explosion I expected, but at least the truth is out. And I'm no longer the family default babysitter / excuse generator. Yeah, in Jamaica, they would say, pitting out old man again. She had this baby to hold the man. She had this baby so that, not that she wanted to be a mother. This is me just judging. I don't think she wanted to be a mother per se. She wanted this baby to hold on to the man and use this poor little baby as a pawn. Because what you mean? Talking about she's a single mother while in a whole co-parenting relationship living with this man. Like, there is something off about said sister. And they need to nip it in the bud before it gets worse. For the baby's sake. Mm-hmm. So this next story comes from the Am I Overreacting subreddit. It goes, am I overreacting for being upset that my fiancé let me go hungry? I'm just going to hop right into the story. Basically, my fiancé and I just moved into a new apartment today and have not had time to go grocery shopping. Also, sadly enough for me, my purse was stolen while I was in a graduate class yesterday evening, so I currently do not have access to my funds. I paid for the deposit as well as next month's rent for the apartment and also have been responsible for purchasing the living room furniture. My fiancé bought our bedroom furniture. Well, this evening he asked what we should have for dinner and I suggested a local Chinese takeout spot as it is cheap and quick. He responded with, okay, go get it, to which I asked if he was paying for it because, again, cards stolen. He said nope. Looks like you'll have to find something else. I just went and continued unpacking my closet. About 30 minutes later, he told me he'd be back and quickly left the apartment. When he returned, he had gotten himself takeout from a different place and also grabbed a frozen meal from a convenience store. I was immediately frustrated because he didn't mention food when he left, but I didn't say anything. Then, when he put the frozen meal away, he turned and said, "That's not your dinner. It's my lunch tomorrow," which just caught me off guard. I got pretty upset and asked what he expected me to eat because we literally have no food in the apartment yet, and I won't have access to any type of money until I can get back to the bank tomorrow. He literally just shrugged at me and then took his meal into our bedroom where he ate while unpacking. I won't lie, I cried and called my best friend asking if she could please bring me snacks or something to get me through the night because the last time I ate was at 7 a.m. My fiancé said that I was dramatic and that I'd be fine until I could go to the bank tomorrow to get cash. My feelings are so hurt because I do not understand how he could let me go hungry even for just one night. Girl, that man hates you. That is not your fiancé. That is not a good person. The man hates you. Run, girl. When I say put back the things in the box, the things you're unpacking, repack and run. Because one, you have to pay first and last month's rent. He's trying the bedroom furniture. Fine, you're buying, living room furniture or whatever. What kind of future are you having if this man cannot feed you? I want to know. I need the backstory because when y'all were dating, did this man pay for any meals on any dates or is you... he pays for his, you pay for yours, or you are the one financing this entire relationship? Because it doesn't sound, the man hates you, ma'am. Miss, the man do not like you. Run, girl. Because Okay? You're asking if you overreacted. This man just left you to starve and is gaslighting you, okay? The man said no and went and got food and came back. You are underreacting, in my opinion, because none of us would have eaten that night. You let him go into the bedroom and eat and unpack. First of all, he has the food in his hand and this is me. I'm slapping that food to the ground. None of us is eating, okay? None of us is going to eat, and that frozen meal through the window. Open the window through the window. None of us eating. If I cannot eat, you not eating. What kind of fiancé is that? What type of fiancé is that? Your first time living together. This is your first relationship. No, not your first relationship. Your first time living together, and the man decides your cards were stolen. Even to say, okay, I will buy you the food, and then when you get your money tomorrow when you go to the bank, you can pay me back. Food, people. This man is worse than the red pill 50-50 bros. You know, the people who talk about, oh, you know, I want to go. He's worse than those people. The man left you to starve to death. You had to call your friend all embarrassed and having to explain that your fiancé let you starve while he sat there and full his belly. I promise you, nobody would eat, nobody would sleep that night. That would be the end of the relationship. I wouldn't even post over here asking if I'm overreacting. Ma'am, what you mean? That is some form of abuse somewhere. I don't know what kind, but that is something. All right, so the comment said, I really hope this is fake. Not only does your fiancé not like you, but he legit hates you. That is the same thing I said. Someone says, you're not reacting enough. Exactly. Why would you be moving in or engaged to someone who treats you this way? The whole point of being in a relation is to care for one another and ease the burdens of things. What's the point of a relationship where it's fend for yourself? You can do that by yourself. Amen. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Someone replied to that and said this with pointy fingers. I have been married for almost 44 years. Big up you. Congratulations, queen. My husband would starve before he let me go without. Your boyfriend is a selfish prick. Dump him. Thank you guys for the awards. No, for real. He hates you. Girl, go and fend for yourself. Go and fend for yourself. You already paid for the apartment, so you probably either break the lease now or just live by yourself because it sounds like you probably can afford it. Let him take his bedroom furniture. You can sleep on an air mattress for a while or on the living room furniture until you get yourself together, because this man, no, I really need, let me see. No, she deleted her account too. Oh gosh. I wanted to know how this relationship went to the engagement. Did you buy your own ring? Because it seems like that would be what would happen. You would have bought your own ring and give it to him and then he proposed, or you've spent all the money on the dates, or is it that he love bombed you into all of this and then now this is his truth, this is his true self? I need updates, OP. Reinstate your account and let me know what is happening. All right. So this next story comes from r/Dusty Thunder. It says, am I the a-hole for hanging up on my mother-in-law while she was crying? I had a double mastectomy 8 days ago. Stage 2 breast cancer. I'm 39. My daughter just turned 2. I hope that it went well. Surgery went well. They got everything and you'll be healed for real, in Jesus' name. Amen. My mother-in-law helped set up my daughter's birthday party the day before my surgery. While we were setting up, she told me I shouldn't be scared of anesthesia because other people have it worse, and I should be grateful I don't need open heart surgery. That's weird. She also told me her breast cancer a few years ago was the same stage as mine. It wasn't. She had stage 0 or 1, minimal treatment, radiation only. Mine required removing both breasts, and I'm waiting on test results to see if I need chemo. My parents offered to take my daughter while I recover. She's 2 and I can't lift her or chase her around right now. I have drains and tissue expanders. It's temporary but necessary. Yesterday, my mother-in-law called. She's upset about several things. She doesn't understand why my doctors are testing my tumor when they already did a biopsy. Says I shouldn't do chemo because they got the whole tumor. Is she okay? Then she started crying, saying she didn't get enough time with my daughter at the birthday party, that it's my fault. I didn't force my daughter to leave my lap and play with her. She's been crying on and off for 2 weeks about this. And you should have ended the call right there. But seems like you're a very nice person, OP. She's upset no one checked on her when she had COVID. Upset we didn't ask her to watch my daughter instead of my parents. Upset she doesn't get to show off her granddaughter to her friends. I told her we can bring my daughter over when she comes back from my parents, but she's terrified of dogs after being attacked on a walk. So mother-in-law would need to put the dog away. She went off. Said dogs are family and she won't put him away. That my parents can keep taking care of her since they apparently have a better connection. Then she said, now I'm not saying you're lying, but when I had my hysterectomy, I went home and took care of a 2-year-old with no help. I don't understand why you can't take care of your daughter. OP, and you did not cuss this woman out and hang up on her? Okay. I said I have to go. I'm too upset to talk. I'll call you when I'm calmer. Goodbye, and hung up. Then I went for a walk alone, which I shouldn't have done because, again, 8 days post-double mastectomy. My parents have a whole room set up for grandkids. Toys, cribs, clothes, everything. They ask to see her constantly. My in-laws have a high chair and cancels plans frequently. Am I the a-hole? No, girl, you are not the a-hole. But this is my thing. Why is it that phone call lasted longer than it should have been? You are fighting for your life. And this lady is going to say, oh, you should be happy that they're just taking away both your breasts. It could have been worse. You could have been having open heart surgery. That's what she said. You have a lot of restraint, OP. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. The good Lord is working on you, OP. Then she's going to compare you losing your breasts to when she had a hysterectomy. And that she was able to go home and take care of a 2-year-old. First of all, I don't believe that. I believe that to be a lie. I don't know how old she is, okay? And when she had her surgery, to be taken care of which 2-year-old? But that is not true, okay? That's one. Then, if she had to go home and take care of a 2-year-old after having surgery, her husband is worthless and terrible because your wife just had surgery and you are left to take care of a child. This lady is a liar and I don't know, she just wants attention and I don't know why. Is it that the son is a mama's boy and you came and is taking all the shine away from the son, or she's a narcissist and just wants to be the center of attention? Because you said that your parents offered to watch your child, right? Like your mother and father know that, hey, you're having this surgery, you cannot lift the baby, so they offered. She did not offer, and then she's going to be here complaining, like, why didn't you ask me? Why do I need to ask you? You knew I was going to have the surgery. You could have offered. This lady sounds terrible, and when you calm down, you should not call her. You should have nothing to do with this lady. This is where you cut her off. You need to be cutty. Listen, cut people off. You can cut them off for any reason. This one is one of those reasons that you can cut her off. OP, you need to be cutty. Very cut people off. If her son wants to go and visit and bring the grandchild, feel free. Feel all sorts of free, but leave this lady alone. Let's see what the comments have to say. Not the a-hole. And the fact that she's comparing her hysterectomy to your literal cancer surgery while you're 8 days out is absolutely deranged. You didn't hang up on her. You showed restraint by not blocking her entirely. See? This, OP, a double mastectomy is a huge surgery. The drains are a pain in the butt and the expanders hurt. It's so easy to get an infection these days as well. I'm a nurse practitioner. And that's without driving into the psychological of what a cancer diagnosis does to us mentally and being scared, overwhelmed, and in pain. I'm so sorry you are dealing with this. And now mother-in-law wants to play who had it worse? Is she diagnosed with any personality disorders? Because I'm getting a strong whiff of narcissistic or PD or histrionic PD. But truly, take care of yourself, be gentle with yourself, and block that evil woman. I like that. Someone says, am I correct in assuming OP shouldn't be lifting anything, especially a 2-year-old? Mother-in-law sounds like a bag. Mother-in-law sounds very terrible. All right, so the last one is going to be from the subreddit, R True Off My Chest. All right. And it's titled, I Fell in Love with My Brother-in-Law and I Hate Myself for It. Girl, how you find yourself in this predicament, ma'am? Oh gosh, let us read. My 27 female, husband 35 male, invited his brother 28 male to come live with us almost a year ago because he lost his job and was about to get evicted. I wasn't thrilled about it because he was almost a stranger who lived 4 hours away, but I couldn't really say anything because he was my husband's family. My husband bought him a plane ticket and he came to live with us. It was very awkward at the beginning because my husband works 12 to 14-hour shifts and I was home all day alone with a stranger. I work from home. But we started chatting and spending time together, not really on purpose, but our house isn't particularly big, and when cooking for lunch or dinner or watching TV, we were always in each other's space. He found a job as a freelancer about 6 months ago, but he still is home all day. We developed a routine, cooking and eating together, going for walks because he said me going alone was dangerous. I started to feel happier and happier, spending time with him. So in a panic, I told my husband we should probably ask his brother to move out because he already has a decent job and is not good for a marriage to have someone else in their house 24/7. My husband misinterpreted my words and thought I hated his brother, and he told me he wouldn't kick his baby brother out just because I wanted to be a bad person, and when he is ready, he would go on his own, and maybe if I spent time with him, I would see his brother was great. But that's exactly the problem. I started to see how great his brother was, and I couldn't tell my husband. The reason I want your brother out is because I start to like him a little too much and I love... Listen, periods, girl. This whole thing does not have a full stop. Whew. All right, let's continue. Where did I leave off? I started to see how great his brother was, and I couldn't tell my husband the reason I want your brother out is because I start to like him a little too much and I love you and I want our marriage to... Ladies, so I kept quiet and tried to distance myself from him. But it was hard, especially, not especially, she didn't say especially, she said especially because I did want to spend time with him. Oh, Lord. Punctuations, people. Okay? I feel like every day I fall in love with him even more. I try limiting the time we spend together, but the guilt is eating me alive. I know I won't act on it. I tell myself it's normal to have crushes on other people as long as you don't act on it. But my brother-in-law is getting flirtier even when I tell him to stop. I even told him to move out because it's not right to meddle in other people's marriages. He just laughed it off. I started to resent my husband for putting me in this position even when I know it's not his fault. Even our intimate life has suffered because my husband said his brother could hear us and that makes him uncomfortable. So I almost dead bedroom for a little under a year. I don't know what to do, to be honest. I don't want to tell anyone I know in real life because I know how disgusting it sounds if you said it out loud. I booked a therapy appointment, good girl, thinking it might help, but the earliest appointment I could get was in January. So I'm here telling complete strangers that I'm basically in love with my husband's younger brother and that I'm a horrible human being who doesn't deserve love. There's a small edit. I grabbed my laptop and some essentials and went to my dad's house. I'll tell my husband to meet me there tonight so we could talk. Thank you a lot. I got some real advice from some of y'all. Okay, girl, listen, I don't know what you need to do, but this is not going to end well, okay? First, you said that your husband is neglecting you for almost a year because he doesn't want your brother to hear y'all doing married people things, okay? Right? And maybe he doesn't even show you affection around the house so that the brother don't see. So you're being neglected, right? That is. And then you say he works 12 to 14-hour shifts, so he's gone most of the day. And here you are with brother cooking, doing all the things. They maybe look alike, smell alike, act alike, and all the things. Do you really love him? Probably not. You're being neglected by your husband. And here comes brother-in-law to fill in the gap. It's probably not love, it's probably lust. I'm just saying, but you're saying you love him. Probably not, okay? Probably just a whole lot of built up sexual tension. And yeah. No, the other thing too is that the brother-in-law know what he's doing. Brother-in-law is not slick because You've spoken to him and now he's being more flirty. He knows what he's doing. And that is very disrespectful. It's very disrespectful to a husband and to his brother. Now, the other thing is you need to tell your husband that you're not comfortable, because no, I don't know how you're going to spin it. Be like, hey, I'm falling in love with your brother, so you might want to kick him out. I don't know if you can say that or if you should say that. So I don't know. And I guess you tried therapy, but you cannot get an appointment till January. So that is, and you don't want to tell anybody in your real life, so you're telling Reddit. And I don't really have much of anything to tell you more than kick out the brother-in-law. If the husband vexed, sure, that is fine. You can, you know what? Let me see what the comments have to say. Someone says she needs to tell him, laugh out loud, he's not ignoring the fact his brother is flirting with his wife. He's unaware. Someone said, agreed. I cannot understand the husband misunderstanding what she was saying on her first attempt. But if brother-in-law is being actively flirtatious, she'd be wrong to not say anything about it. Ah, yes, come at that point. Hey, brother-in-law is flirting with me, kick him out. Yes, Someone else says, husband already neglecting her, refuses to be intimate, refuses to look into moving out brother, and generally sounds dismissive. Besides the brother, it's very ishy approach to your wife. Someone else says he's refusing to sleep with his wife because his brother is there, though, and that is BS. Okay. Someone else says, exactly, the husband isn't ignoring anything. He's misunderstanding his wife, who didn't explain herself, instead hoping her husband would read her mind. Oh, that's another view. Someone else says, I'm sure she's absolutely not hoping he'll read her mind. She was hoping that her opinion and concerns on their living arrangements would be prioritized over her husband's brother, but her husband chose someone else's comfort over that of his wife. All right, Reddit. That is why people ask, because you know you get some good advice in these comment section. No. OP had posted an update, and the update got deleted. So I don't know what happened. I did not screenshot it, but boo-hoo. Okay, guys, so that is the end of the video. If you enjoyed this even a little bit, hit that like button, okay? If you want to come back and see this face and hear me read people's business and check out my earring of the day, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification so you're notified when I post, all right? And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.